Alright. NTX is here to murder some shit for us. Oh! Thank you, Eli. Poor creature. Would that you'd never been born. You'd surrendered your physical form and collapsed into ether, but Bahamut denied you death and imprisoned what little was left of you in an ethereal shell resembling... what, I wonder? Images from your memory, perhaps? But that shell is now broken, and your primal deity seems disinclined to sustain your existence. My primal deity? I kneel to no icon. What need have I to beg the favor of such filth? I am Nail von Darnus, the goddess of the 7th Legion. No. A moment. My thoughts are clouded, and this body not mine own. Could it be that you spoke the truth? Was I ensorcelled by the Lesser Moon's ancient prisoner? That will not happen again. You speak as if Bahamut no longer controlled you. But that's impossible. Once a primal ensnares a mind, it cannot be freed. Unless Bahamut simply relinquished his claim. What need has he of his broken spirit bound for the ethereal realm? Oh, that I should fall prey to the very influence I sought to purge from the land. The irony is galling. But do not assume that all of my actions were chosen for me. It was my will that the Meteor Project be resurrected. Mine, and none other. Yes, it seems that my grand designs were destined to fail. Even the ungentle release of death was denied me. Nail, please, you must tell us more of the calamity. I must know the truth of what has befallen the world, and what has become of my grandfather, Archon Louiswa. You are Louiswa's grandchild. Ah, the fates are generous with their cruelty. Continue on, maybe you would have your answers. They await you at the terminus of your path. But know that this path leads only to despair. The light of truth was ever harsh and unforgiving. Why do you say this? Grandfather will be freed once we put a stop to Bahamut's restoration, will he not? What are you not telling us? Steel yourself, child. Only unbending resolve and merciless strength can conquer what lies ahead. The weak can do naught but weep under the pall of their own misery, as did the frail child I once was. Silence, chattering raven. Your wretched wings are broken, and you shall soar no more. My crimson moon, your brilliance sears mine eyes. I recognize that voice, Ny'ardbert, but never would he say such words. Come, let us finish what we came to do. All will be put to right when the final hulk lies dormant. Grandfather will be himself again, I'm sure of it. Bahamut regenerates more swiftly than I had anticipated. Let us hope that disabling this coil will serve to slow the process. The display seems different, but the controls appear to mimic the mechanism we found in the Lanosian Hulk. It shouldn't pose a problem. Ny'ardbert, forgive me. The moment I beheld Nail's transformation, hope wilted in my heart. I did not believe you could stand against the manifestation of Bahamut's power. Yeah, and I definitely did. For all your fabled strength and skill, I felt certain then that I was going to lose you, just as I lost my grandfather. Even he, a man for whom naught seemed impossible, was humbled before Bahamut's might. And yet, look how far we have come. It is incredible the feats of which we are capable, our boundless potential. It was this capacity for greatness, I believe, that Grandfather so dearly wished to protect. With all that has occurred, I have come to understand that much at least. 'Tis done. Shall we make our way back to the surface and gather our thoughts? We've seen much that will benefit from Urianger's learned perspective. Oh! Grandfather? It is you. Then why?
Abandon this quest, Alizé. I will not countenance further sabotage of the coils.
Sabotage? But we must disable the coils if we are to prevent Bahamut's revival.
Your defiance seals your fate.
No. No, you're not who I thought you were. My grandfather would never.
Foolish girl. How could the White Raven allow herself to be bested by such sniveling opponents? Listen well. We all exist at the pleasure of one divine will, and the word of Lord Bahamut is absolute. Scurry back into your holes, vermin. You've been granted this one reprieve. But should you be so foolish as to crawl into my lord's domain again, I will crush the life from you myself.
That light in grandfather's eyes. He suffered the same fate as Nail. My grandsire is no more. I was naught but a phantom that profanes his noble memory. This mockery must be expunged. I will not rest until I free grandfather's soul from Bahamut's tyranny. Do you hear me, Bahamut? Your time is at an end. Eorzea and my family will be avenged. How do I leave? Truly, it is wonderful to escape that stifling air and return to northern Vanland again, it would appear. I must thank you, Ny'ardbert. Were it not for your bravery, I strongly doubt that I would be standing here now. But you need not tarry on my account. The danger has passed. Pray, go on ahead and apprise Urianger of all that has occurred. I will join you anon. My thoughts are yet unruly, and I would rest here a while. Pray return to the Waking Sands, and report our success to Urianger. I shall follow in due course. All right, let's head over there. Back to the Waking Sands we go.
triumphant hero doth return. Thine eyes speak of the dread task's completion. The second coil now lieth dormant. Yet I sense the tidings thou bearest are not altogether glad. Pray, tell me, what ill hath cast the shadow which falleth now across thy brow? Yes, you were right about Louis Soir, more or less. An old foe and an old friend. So, 'twas but the ethereal shadow of Master Louis Soir that Lady Alisaie beheld. An unnatural conjuration in thrall to the elder primal. That the fiend should deign to choose him of all men, even in full knowledge of the shade's true nature, I would be hard-pressed to weather such a confrontation. Yet, what agonies must the young mistress have endured? Such torment did she ne'er deserve. Mayhap 'twere better if the Lady Alisaie did absent herself from future forays unto the coils. I have come too far to surrender to grief, Urianger. My lady, I am resolved to defeat these fiends, and naught shall sway me from my path. Now, let us peer more deeply into the well of our discoveries. As you wish, my lady. By your leave, I would speak first of the coil's late guardian, Nael von Darnus. Von Darnus was a legatus of the Garlean Empire, who strove to bring about Eorzea's final destruction, only to fall even as the sixth sun did set. If thou hast heard tales of the White Raven, then it is he of whom they speak. Aye, he, I say, for Nael was for a certainty no maid. The noble house of Von Darnus, as we discovered all too late, had long safeguarded the wisdom of ancient Alag. 'Twas thus that the legatus came to learn the true nature of Dalamud, and to seek to employ the Red Moon as a weapon against Eorzea. But the Crystal Tower, and the mechanisms required to command the satellite, yet lay hidden beneath the ground, compelling Nael to construct a far less subtle mechanism, and in his first faltering attempt to communicate with Dalamud, he did likely rouse the satellite's slumbering prisoner. Thenceforth did the White Raven's soul belong to Bahamut. He was fortunate indeed to acquire so powerful a thrall by chance. 'Tis little wonder he was so loath to part with him. Why let a simple thing like death deprive one of so useful a pawn? Though we may accuse him of bungling Von Darnus's resurrection, I dare say Bahamut was as content to have a handmaiden as a manservant. I only hope that the two thralls we encountered were the extent of his flock. Yet I cannot help but dwell on Nael's words, those beloved children of whom he spoke. I assumed at first that he referred to the moon's beastly guardians, but should Bahamut have enslaved other mortals, we must needs remove this source of worship. Otherwise our efforts to disable the coils shall be for naught. Forgive mine indelicacy, my lady. Thou art wise indeed to speak of expunging the primal's thralls, but canst thou truly pursue a course which would cost thee thine own grandsire? My heart and mind are as one on this matter. Grandfather's salvation can be won but by a single method, the destruction of Bahamut, and aught that might serve to sustain him. Ny'ardbert, while Urianger and I endeavor to ascertain the existence of any further thralls, I suggest you grant yourself a moment's respite. Rest assured that I will contact you the moment I have need of your inimitable talents. That we have achieved so much I owe to you. I fear, however, that our trials have barely begun. Though time had dulled the pain of thy passing, I find that I am wounded afresh. Master Louis Soir, what good shall come of this unending search for knowledge and truth? Long have I believed the pursuits of such treasures to be the duty of every true Charlatan. Yet when each new revelation serveth only to heap further anguish upon those whom we would fain protect, must we truly reach for more? So, you have found your resolve, dear sister. Will you now find a use for the secret, for the key that only you and I hold? Given our familial propensity for curiosity, you would do well to remember that keys may serve to seal doors as well as to unlock them, and Bahamut is a most unwelcome guest to whom the door should never have been opened. I'm sorry, where were you hiding? Were you, like, here? Or were you, like, over here? That shot did not make sense. Anyway, be back with further coils. Alright, 2 down, 1 to go. Auntie Inks has decided to help out a little bit further, so let's blow through this last set of coils. Oh, sorry, I guess we also need to turn in the Shiva thing. 'Tis not the first time I've seen thee stride into the waking sands wearing such a look. Thou art as an open book, Ny'ardbert, wherein the tale of thy victory is writ large. In her redoubled strength I glimpse the dark hand of the paragons. Her return and her very defeat serveth merely to continue the escalating cycle of conflict. Full glad am I of thine all-surpassing martial skills, Ny'ardbert, yet still more glad would I be were they not required. Would that the Lady Iceheart could be made to abandon her misbegotten crusade. Till she be thus converted, or else slain, the people of Ishgard will know no peace. But be not disheartened. One day by thy light the darkness within and without shall be purged, and the Ascians shall taste lasting defeat. We need only have faith. Man is wont to cast light wheresoever secrets lie, hidden darkness, though that which he illuminateth seldom bringeth him joy. So it is with such unhappy truths as Bahamut's immense shadow doth conceal. Yet ever onward forgeth Mistress Alizé, undeterred by the burden of knowledge that weigheth heavy on her heart. 'Tis a perilous path she hath chosen, and a painful one. I prithee, Ny'ardbert, remain by her side as her valiant blade, that she might see her quest to its conclusion. Ny'ardbert, it is well that you are here. My lady, how might I serve you this day? I have met with some difficulty in my mission, Urianger, and I should be grateful for your counsel. As you know, Bahamut's physical form is regenerating beneath the Cartenow Flats, even as we speak. If we are to prevent his return, we must needs disable the 2 remaining internment hulks that sustain him. Every moment our mission is delayed, the realm is pushed closer to the brink of destruction. Alas, though I've determined the locations of the fragments of Bahamut leading to the hulks, I've been unable to find a way to enter them. And gaining admittance is but the first step in your perilous undertaking. When last thou descended into Bahamut's subterranean fastness, thou didst discover, didst thou not, that the dread primal had bound the shade of Nail Darnus unto his will? And though thou didst consign the fallen legatus to blessed oblivion, thou mayest recall that the piteous wretch was not alone. Doubt not but that Bahamut's other thralls shall seek to hinder thy passage. You can say his name, Urianger. I have not forgotten that my grandfather is waiting for us. My lady, I would remind you, as I must oft remind myself, that the man whom we both loved and revered is no more. What remaineth is but a shade which defileth his memory. The vile verbiage that spilleth from his lips must not be heeded, for it cometh not from your grandsire, but from Bahamut himself. You need not worry, Urianger. Come what may, I will not stray from the course. I will not let grandfather's sacrifice be in vain.
but mere words will not take us whither we must go. As I said, I have been unable to find a way to enter the fragments of Bahamut. My lady, might I suggest that you visit the fragments again in Ny'ardbert's company? Full oft hath the warrior of light set events in motion by virtue of his presence alone. 'Tis possible that he may do so again. Rerun J, that's so meta, you can't just say that. I, the while, shall search for answers of mine own. By our efforts combined, full sure am I that the path shall be revealed to us ere long. Were it anyone else, I should question the wisdom of such advice. Yet I cannot deny that what you say about Ny'ardbert is true. Very well, I shall do as you suggest. Assuming you have no objections, of course. Good. Now we seek entry to 2 fragments of Bahamut. One lies at the Burning Wall in eastern Thanalan, and the other at the Singing Shards in Mordona. I left an assistant at each location with instructions to continue searching for a means of ingress. It is not impossible that they could since have found something useful to us. Let's begin by visiting my man at the Burning Wall. Dex, I think it was. Eastern Thanalan? Yeah, Eastern Thanalan. Got it. Okay, to the wall. It is a humbling experience to be doing your, coming off of these things that I was running solo, and then doing one with a, capped level DPS. Regardless of how strong Ny'ardbert may be, we've still got a long way to go. Oh no, is it? There it is. Alizé's assistant. Oh, you're from the cutscene before! I say, are you not Master Tia, my lady's most faithful companion? Sinnes, sir, at your service. And may I say what an honor it is to meet you. Thank you. How goes the survey, Dex? Ahem, my lady. It shames me to say that I have found no viable path to the fragment. Though it stands there before our very eyes, the way thither has thus far proven impassable. When the fragment fell and pierced the land, it caused a prodigious amount of ether to spew forth. 'Twas this that gave rise to the land's twisted lay, which seems destined to thwart our efforts. Even were an opening to exist, I fear that we would struggle to reach it. We cannot give up. Keep trying. So near and yet so far. While it avails us not to stand here and stare at the thing, let us away to Mordona and try the other fragment. Perhaps Sinnes has fared better. Upon that note, my lady, there is something I must tell you. I am sorry to report that I lost contact with my brother just over a bell ago. As you know, the Singing Shards are home to many fell creatures, ogres among them. While I do not wish to cause you undue alarm, I fear something unspeakable may have happened to Dex. What? Why didn't you give me strength? We must hurry to my assistant's aid, Ny'ardbert. Oh, no, that is there. Sorry. The Singing Shards are home to a host of fell creatures, ogres among them. If it would not be too much trouble, I should be most grateful if you would find my brother and keep my lady safe. It is kind of funny that Mordona isn't, or that Alizé is invested in her assistant's safety, but couldn't be asked to remember their names. I think, like, they got them backwards, right?
Right, we have to do this the other way around. Hello, other assistant, either Dex or Cena. Thank you, adventurer. For a moment there, I feared that my bones were to be ground and used to bake bread.
I'm relieved to see that you are unharmed. It was wrong of me to press such a dangerous task upon you.
My lady, your worries are wasted on me. 'Twas nothing at all, I assure you. If it please you, I shall report on my findings. As you can see, though the tip of the fragment is exposed, the rest is encased in rock and crystal, rendering it impossible to enter the structure. We might try excavating the area around the fragment, but that is like to take time, and there really is no telling how deep we may need to dig before we find a suitable point of ingress. As such, I am forced to conclude that gaining entry to this fragment is unrealistic. Forgive me, my lady.
Confound it. We're losing precious time. What are we to do now?
'Tis I, Orion... wow, sorry, can't go between those, apparently. 'Tis I, Orion J. Glad tidings have I for thee and my lady. For a blessing, a way hath been found by which thou mayest enter the remaining fragments of Bahamut. Pray escort Mistress Alizé to the cerulean processing plant in northern Thanalan. There all shall be made clear.
Orion J has found a way? Then we must go to him at once.
Alright, Camp Blue Fog, here we come. Or north of Camp Blue Fog, here we come. Mine apologies for summoning you thus from afar, my lady, but 'tis here that your journey may finally begin.
I did wonder. To my knowledge, there are no fragments in northern Thanalan.
Nor are you mistaken, my lady. Yet a pathway doth exist, one which you yourself have made use of in the past. At the conclusion of your several forays into the binding coil, 'twas at the crystal formation which lieth to the north of this place that you did emerge, was it not?
Yes, an ethereal stream bore us back to the surface. That much I had surmised. Are you suggesting that we can use it to return underground? And even if that were possible, would it not simply bear us back to those places which we have already explored?
It need not, my lady. Pray allow me to explain. Upon the evidence of your experience, it seemeth plain that the two internment hulks may share the self-same ethereal egress. From this we did infer that others may be connected in likewise. Thus did we labor long to verify the existence of further tributaries to the self-same stream, in which task we were at length successful. 'Twas then but a matter of arriving at a solution to the problem of traveling to an unattuned destination. That one might reach what we may call the headwater. We propose to deploy a modified aetherite which serveth to amplify such ripples. Wow, you've got some tongue twisters today, Orion J. As do originate from said source. By focusing one's essence upon these ripples, it should be possible to make the journey. Yet be fairly warned, my lady, as with all untried methods of ethereal travel, this method entaileth considerable danger. Merely to attempt the voyage could cost you your life.
That is a risk I'm willing to take. You're brilliant, Orianche. But I am curious. Did you have assistance in forming this plan? I could not help notice your repeated use of the word we, unless you have taken to using the majestic plural in our absence.
Ah, ahem. Nay, my lady. As you have correctly surmised, I was not alone in this endeavor.
Meaning there are others who are aware of our mission? Well, it cannot be helped now. Preventing Bahamut's return is what matters. If some secrecy must be sacrificed to achieve our goal, then so be it.
That Biggs and Wedge? Nah. Verily, 'twas not my wish to withhold knowledge of the aid I received. I pray that Mistress Alizé will forgive me when she learneth of its source.
So, that must be the modified aetherite. But what are the immortal flames doing here?
Those men may be sworn flames of Ul'dah, but they are first and foremost faithful retainers of House Leveilleur.
Alfie now! So it was you who was helping Orianche.
Who else could it have been, dear sister? Lest you worry, I have no intention of making the details of your venture public. Like you, I would prefer to avoid causing a panic. But given that which is at stake, namely the survival of the realm, one must be willing to accept help when it is offered. Would you not agree? At the very least, do not be cross with Orianche. 'Twas at my behest that he kept silent.
We will speak later.
Pray forgive me, my lady, but knowing full well your intent, I judged it meet that Master Alphino be informed. Though your grandsire have become Bahamut's thrall, his noble blood courseth yet through both your veins, and if he must needs be struck down...
Do you hear that, Alphino? I mean to strike down grandfather, and when I have done so, I shall banish Bahamut to the ether. Nothing you say will sway me from my course. I will protect Eorzea, and I will uphold grandfather's legacy.
Grandfather's legacy? So you still do not know what you yourself desire. Your actions are still driven by borrowed resolve.
Borrowed resolve? What does that have to do with anything? Protecting Eorzea is grandfather's goal, and we made it ours. Both of us. That is why we came here, unless you've forgotten.
Gods forbid. I should ever forget, Alizé, but you misunderstand. I do not question your resolve, only whence it came. If it were your own, you would be able to tell me precisely why you so desire to fervently protect Eorzea. Yet you cannot, for it is not your resolve, but grandfather's. You may struggle to see the difference, but borrowed resolve shall never be as strong as that which springs from within. But let us speak of this another time. For now, preventing Bahamut's return is all that matters. To be plain, I have no objection to striking down whatever is left of grandfather. Know, however, that I will be accompanying you this time. As a son of House Leveilleur, I would be present for his final moments.
Very well. You may join us on one condition. I make the decisions.
If it please, milady, the name's Erkenrad. Our preparations are just about complete. When you're ready to embark on your mission, just give me the word. I'll be waiting for you at the Cerulean processing plant.
Pay no heed to my brother. You can rely on me. We've come far together, you and I, and together we shall see our journey to its end.
Oh man, Alizé and I should hang out. We should talk about her brother. Because he is annoying. Love the guy, but I feel like it would be nice to have someone to commiserate about that particular pompous little shit.
I've been waiting for you, Master Tia. I'm pleased to say that the Aetherite's primed and ready. As you know, the remaining interment hulks are connected to the fragments in Eastern Thanalan and Mordona. It's the former that will be sending you first. Now, you'll be starting inside the hulk, meaning you won't have to cover so much ground. The drawback being that you'll be fighting for your life from the moment you get there. Best be prepared for anything, for Milady's sake if not your own. And that's about all I can tell you. When your preparations are in order, just give me the word and I'll send you on your way. I may even throw in a prayer for your speedy return, just to be on the safe side. Alright. Final coil of Bahamut. Alright, I need to fill in our buddy, but then let's get this show on the road. So this is how it looks on the inside. This interment hulk still functions. The teleportation was a success. We have come to the right place. There's no telling how much further Bahamut has regenerated since we last beheld him. Let us make haste to the main bridge and deactivate the coil. There were receptacles similar to these in the previous hulk. Those held chimerical beasts, but only the Allagans know what other abominations may be sleeping within. They may well be part of Dalamud's internal defenses. We must stay on our guard at all times. Oh, they're following me this way? Alright, right on to the last one. Whew, terrifying. Crushed. One more down. By the 12. Dragons. And so many. We were aware that the Alligans possessed the means to control the creatures, but to imprison them thus is barbaric. I would not wish such a fate upon my worst enemy. It is plain that no love was lost between the Alligans and the dragons, but was it truly necessary to keep so great a number here? Bahamut did not want for defenses. This we have experienced firsthand. Such guardians as the Alligans created, both living and unliving, were surely no less capable of repelling intruders than these poor creatures. Tell me something, Alizé. Have you not managed to determine by whose will Bahamut exists? No, I have not. At first I assumed that Bahamut had no people of his own, that the Alligans had perhaps discovered a way to simulate prayer itself. However, Nail's words gave me cause to consider, specifically the Shade's mention of Bahamut's beloved children. From that I inferred that the primal is given form by the will of worshippers whom we have yet to... Oh. God strike me down for a blind fool. Bahamut's beloved children, right here before my very eyes. How could I be so stupid? Who else but the dragons of Eld would summon Bahamut? Who else but they could sustain him? And to think I wondered why the Alligans kept them imprisoned here. Even should the flame of Bahamut's life go out, his faithful children would summon him back. For this reason, the Alligan Empire kept an army of dragons here in a perpetual state of duress, that they might sustain the primal's existence. Truly, the Alligans' ingenuity knew no bounds, and neither did their cruelty. Small wonder that Bahamut was so enraged. Let no one deny that it was man who sowed the seeds of the calamity. Will you now turn your hatred towards our kind, dear sister? Do not patronize me, Alfino. I merely acknowledge our guilt. Lest you be in any doubt, I have no intention of allowing Bahamut to lay the world to waste, regardless of the atrocities the Alligans committed against his kind. We have no choice but to eliminate all who worship him, be they his children or his thralls. It seems reasonable to assume that the system responsible for the primal's regeneration is also responsible for sustaining the captive dragons. If we disable it, all should perish. Let us press on. Ooh, that's going to be a weighty button to push. Like, I'm not exactly pro-dragon, but that's a lot of death. Alright, on to turn 2. Alright, split up and search for clues, gang. like he jumped the gun on that one. Oh, is it? Okay, okay. Ooh. Hell of a Hydra. And dead. This looks like a model of Bahamut, yes. For millennia, Bahamut must have gazed at this unchanging view, trapped inside a prison that was scarcely large enough to contain him, unable to move, denied the release of death. How his hatred for man must have burned. That hatred found an ideal vessel in Nail von Darkness. In many ways, Bahamut is to be pitied, not loathed. But knowing the true extent of his fury, I am more convinced than ever of the necessity of our endeavor. Besides, he is not the only soul that cries out for vengeance. Alright, and on to 3.
Gods, he is almost whole again.
Uh-oh, voice acting jump scare.
His size is staggering. I can scarce imagine how Grandfather stood against such a monstrosity.
This cannot be allowed to proceed any further. Let us disable the coil and move on. Grandfather? No, that man is dead. I will not dishonor my beloved grandsire's memory by calling you such. You are but his twisted shape, the thrall of a mad primal.
You were foolish to disregard my warning, child. Are you so convinced of your own righteousness?
'Tis the rightness of our path that led us to return. Eorzea will never be safe whilst Bahamut remains to threaten all we hold dear. What of the hero who gave his life in defense of the realm? Do you truly dispute the justice of our cause?
My poor, ignorant grandchildren. Your world is shaped by naught but recent conflict. Listen, and I will speak to you of justice. 'Twas in the twilight of the Third Astral Era. The southern land of Mericidia suffered invasion at the hands of the Alagon Empire. With no atrocity too depraved for their purpose, the forces of Alec were unstoppable in their advance. Desperate for salvation, the dragons prayed to one of their first brood, to their ancestor Bahamut. Infused by the power of their fervent supplications, Bahamut arose from the abyss of death and took wing as the Mericidians' newborn god. Yet this great miracle would only serve to further the maniacal designs of the dragon's imperial conquerors. The cruel fetters which bind my lord stand testament to the Alagon's boundless greed and hubris. I once summoned the 12 in an attempt to forestall the advent of the 7th Umbral Era. What then did the dragons of Mericidia do that I did not? Wherefore are they accursed and I exalted? 'Tis man's overweening belief in his own primacy that blinds him to the commonness of his condition and the truth of his own tyranny. As long as man is suffered to remain, the dragons shall never be at peace. Only when the plague of people has been expunged shall the children of Lord Bahamut be free. Then shall the world know true justice.
Stop it! Grandfather would never say such things. His belief that people were worth saving never faltered. He had faith in their strength, that they could stand together and push back against the darkness seeking to shape them.
A false hope. 'Tis folly to place one's faith in so flawed a race. Stand together? Huh? They would first need to agree on which direction to face. If history teaches us anything, it is that man cannot find common ground between his own 2 feet. Even you, twins, whose veins run with the same blood, struggle to fathom each other's reasoning. You hide your differing agendas behind the convenient banner of Eorzea's salvation. Given your obvious self-interest, can you truly claim no kinship with the Alagon? And though I hope they might bring you closer, 'twould seem that the twin grimoires I bestowed upon you were a wasted gesture.
There may well be truth in your judgment of Alize and me, but such a one-sided tirade bemoaning the evils of man rings false, coming from the lips of Archon Louisoix. Tell me, do you champion the cause of dragons because Bahamut compels you as his thrall? Or is it because you yourself have transcended the limits of man's existence?
Ah, so the possibility did not escape your notice. What I prayed for, and what I have become. These are the keys that unlock the truth behind Eorzea's rebirth. If you would have them, then you must needs take them by force. Come, rend this divine form asunder and claim your answers.
become a primal?
It is difficult, I know, but you must accept it. That entity is no phantom or imposter. It is our beloved grandsire.
Please, for his sake and for ours, you must defeat our grandfather.
Alright, let's do this.
Grandfather is truly gone this time. But better it end this way than the alternative.
I am yet here, Alice, my dear, sweet granddaughter.
Grandfather?
I must thank you, warrior of light. Without your valor, I might never have broken free of Bahamut's control. These last few moments are mine, to live as the man I once was.
This is all that I wanted. Yet, now that it is happening, I find myself struggling to believe it. Is it really you?
Grandfather, pray forgive me my insolence. It was not my intent to demean you.
Forgive you? I am proud of you, child. You were wise enough to deduce the manner of creature I had become. Alfino, Alize, if any here should beg forgiveness, it is I.
Grandfather, I must ask, will you not tell us what we found during the calamity?
Yes, yes, of course. You have come far to hear the truth. Let us then begin the tale at the Battle of Cartana, where clashed the forces of the Garlean Empire and the Eorzean Alliance. 'Twas there in the sky above the surging armies that the elder primal Bahamut broke free of the Red Moon Bahamut. In an effort to contain this avatar of destruction, I called upon the 12 to aid me in the creation of a prison of ether. But Bahamut would not be caged by such feeble bars. Too vast was his might, too fierce his rage. Little choice remained to me. I used the last of my strength to entrust our hope unto the future, and prepared to meet my end. As you have no doubt surmised, I did not perish. When the cage built from the essences of the 12 was destroyed, the sky was filled with a colossal cloud of ether. This drifting energy responded to the prayers of those fighting below, and to my own desperate wish that the dying realm be saved by infusing me with the power of a primal. I became the immortal phoenix, ancient symbol of rebirth. Rising into the sky, I struck Bahamut with all my newfound strength. The blow shattered his earthly form, and a shower of ether rained down upon the land. Thus began the rejuvenation of Eorzea. Believing the deed done, I relinquished my hold on that staggering energy, desirous that it should be returned to the realm without delay. But I had not reckoned on Bahamut's tenacious will. Even as he teetered upon the cusp of oblivion, the dragon reached out to claim me. Alas, within my fast fading form, enough remained of the Phoenix's energy to offer Bahamut a hold, and he dragged me along in his wake.
And thus began your existence as the Elder Primal's thrall.
I cannot help but wonder at his will to survive. Though he was all but obliterated, Bahamut found a way to seize the power you surrendered. That would explain why part of his physical form survived to be entombed underground.
It would also explain why Eorzea was so terribly warped. Even as the land sought to restore itself, the returning flow of ether was cut off.
Ah, very good. When his grip on existence was once again secured, Bahamut did not cease his feast until he had consumed every last mote of ether that yet floated in the air.
And still he was not fully restored.
You must remember that by this time, much of the freed ether had already returned to the land. That which remained was not sufficient to reconstruct so massive a form in its entirety. But there did not need to be, not for a being sustained by the marvels of Allagan technology. As long as some piece of Bahamut persists, the coils will seek it out and continue their regenerative task. The fragments of Bahamut appear motionless from the surface, but deep beneath the ground they had been searching, tunneling through rock and soil towards their escaped prisoner. And, as you have observed for yourselves, they found his heart. Warrior of Light, heed me. You must put a stop to Bahamut's regeneration. Whether it be for man or for dragonkind, the question of justice is irrelevant. The Elder Primal will leave naught but a smoldering wasteland for both his children and ours. I beg you to defend Eorzea and guide its people to the future they yet struggle to find. This portal will take you to the final internment, Hulk. 'Tis time for the tale of Bahamut and his part in the calamity to come to an end. Alvino, Alize, pray, come closer. Your hopes and dreams must no longer be an extension of mine. You must needs find your own reason to fight for this realm, your own meaning in this sea of chaos. Will you do that for me?
Of course, Grandfather. I have already made it my mission to see this newborn Eorzea survive and flourish.
Alize, while I was yet enthralled to Bahamut, you spoke of my faith in man's strength. Know that your words reached me, imprisoned though my soul still was. So forceful was your conviction, I wonder if that belief has not become your own. Perhaps, after all your anger and sorrow was spent, you found something greater within you. See this fight to its culmination. 'Tis also your strength, in which I have faith.
Thank you for everything. Pray, take your rest, Grandfather. You deserve it.
There are records of an art that allowed one to summon the power of a primal from the essence of its demise. And though I am no true primal, all that I have left, I give to you. Alfino, Alize, my darling grandchildren. May light's blessings ever keep and protect you.
Come, warrior of light. Our task remains undone.
Alright. Last one. As we stand before Bahamut, let us enter his last coil and see who his final defender is.
Was a long and arduous road, but at last we reach its end. Farewell, Bahamut. I banish you back to the ether. He is not yet whole. I did not think him capable.
Alize! Alize!
I had thought it finally over. I will not survive another blast. No. Is this how I honor my promise to Grandfather?
You must needs find your own reason to fight for this realm. Your own meaning in this sea of chaos. Will you do that for me?
I will, Grandfather. In fact, I believe I already have. That reason has been with me all along, guiding me. Eorzea's blade of light, shearing through endless shrouds of darkness. I have been shown the miraculous feats of which we are all capable. Of which I am capable. Bahamut, you have wreaked enough havoc. I will not let your wrathful fires consume all that we know and love.
How long I have waited to hear you say that! You have found your resolve at last! Let me join my strength to yours. In this place, in this moment, our purpose has become one! Future of Eorzea!
This last task is yours, Warrior of Light. You must destroy Bahamut's crystal core.
That's a size I could deal with. Phoenix Down. No. Okay. What button's that? And with that, we have defeated the coils of Bahamut. And laid the Elder Primal to rest, I hope.
You did it! But one task remains. With this last coil disabled, there shall be naught left to bind Bahamut to this world. His beloved children will finally know peace. 'Tis done. He is truly gone. You knew, didn't you? You knew what Grandfather had become.
I was not certain, but from all I had gleaned, it seemed a distinct possibility. The scene people describe of the Battle of Cartano was one of unimaginable devastation, and 'tis through the combined prayers of the desperate and an abundant source of ether that primals are born. I merely put two and two together.
And you consider that a sufficient explanation? Well, however you stumbled across your theory, 'twas this revelation that made you wary of my attachment to Grandfather. You feared that in my obsession, I would fall under his primal sway. Is that why you decided to join us? To pull me back should I show signs of wavering?
Pray forgive me, sister. I wished only to protect you. Yet I see now that I needn't have doubted the strength of your conviction. May I ask you a question? What do you now intend to do with the truth you have uncovered?
Which particular truth was that, brother? The fact that desperate prayer gave rise to the primal phoenix? That this new god was responsible for setting Eorzea on the path to rebirth? Should such a tale become common knowledge, people would soon offer up their prayers in earnest. They would beseech Phoenix to complete the healing that was begun.
Yet as you and I know all too well, the very act of calling forth this savior would do more harm to the land than good. We cannot encourage such worship for this very reason. Were Grandfather forced to return as an ether-draining primal, it would undo all that he had worked to protect. Your abiding love for him was the key that unlocked the truth of the calamity. But keys may also serve to seal doors that were best left unopened. Let your love now guide your actions, and lock away deep inside the fate of both Grandfather and Bahamut.
Fear not, Alfino. I understand what must be done. The realm need not know the truth for it to be saved. That the Elder Primal is banished, to return no more. That is enough. Let us make our way back to the surface. Poor Oriange must be beside himself with worry.
Alright, let me take a moment to disperse our little party here, and then we will complete this set of quests. And we're back. In spite of your presence, I must confess that there were moments when I feared the worst. But in the end, you plucked us from the flames and bore us safe into victory, just as you always have. As for Alize, I have never been more proud to call her my sister. And here we are again. After that descent into darkness, the desolation of northern Thanalan seems paradisal. As promised, I shan't reveal the truth of the calamity to a single soul. However, the nations of Eorzea will require certain assurances that the threat of a new primal is gone. Kept in the dark over long, 'tis only a matter of time before they seek answers of their own accord. Let us recommend that the fragments of Bahamut are sealed off, that the truth may rest undisturbed. But first we must go and report to Urianger. It would not do to keep him in suspense. I dare say we shall find him pacing up and down at the cerulean processing plant. Let us go to the cerulean processing plant and report to Urianger. It would not do to keep him in suspense. Alright. Urianger! We all lived! I mean, except Auntie Yanks for a sec, but that's fine. She got better. Ah, the warrior of light returneth undimmed from the depths of darkness. Oh? Sorry. By thy triumphant bearing, I take it thou hast succeeded in thy mission, and yet thou art alone. Mistake me not, dear friend, full glad am I of thy safe return. But where, pray, are Master Alphino and Mistress Alizé? Here, my friend. Forgive us our lateness, we took the scenic route. Bahamut is no more, the realm is safe. By the heavens, look at you. What horrors your young eyes must have seen. What suffering your young bodies must have borne. Pray, tell me, where are you hurt? Your wounds must needs be cleansed and dressed at once. I shall make for you a poultice which draweth out... Be at ease, my friend. We are hale and whole, I assure you. We took a few tumbles, but the worst of our hurts are healed. I believe we have grandfather to thank for that. Master Louisoix. Then you met with him once more. But wherefore should Bahamut's thrall seek to ease your suffering? I promise to reveal all to you in due course, dear friend. But first, there is a matter which requires our immediate attention. Now that Bahamut is defeated, we deem it best to bar entry to all of the fragments of Bahamut. To this end, we will convince the nation's leaders that the danger is past and invite their cooperation in ensuring that the fragments are never again disturbed. Come, let us depart and seek an audience with them forthwith. A moment, sister. You need not burden yourself with this task. Urianger and I will more than suffice. Might you not take this opportunity to rest? The gods know you've earned it. But I am fine, brother. Besides, you've been through as much as I have. Oh, I see now. You would play your game of diplomacy and wish me out of the way. No, naught could be further from the truth, Alizé. My lady, 'tis mine earnest belief that your brother hath your best interests at heart. You have more than done your part, and he desireth but to relieve you of a burden he might easily bear alone. I have some experience treating with dignitaries, you must allow, and as you never fail to remind me of my fondness for diplomacy, I feel it only right that I remind you of your aversion to it. Then it is settled. Urianger, pray make arrangement for a chocobo carriage. The ride should give us ample time to prepare our story. Alphino? Though our paths are different, we share the same goal, do we not? But of course, dear sister. That which we have just achieved together stands as a testament to that fact. Whatever path we choose to take, our hearts shall ever lead us to the same end. Of that I am certain. Thank you. There is a place that I would visit. Might I ask you to accompany me? Sure. But First, I do believe a change of garments is in order. It won't take a moment. Is this where she gets a costume change? I thought that was way later. The landscape is the same. Of course, there's no reason that it would be otherwise. Though it would be poetic for the fragments to magically disappear, I am well aware that they shall remain long after you and I are gone. The world may change irrevocably, but life shall ever go on. Let us take a closer look, shall we? I have no doubt that Alfino will do an admirable job concealing the truth of the calamity. And such truths as were revealed in those dark depths will never see the light of day. I myself agreed that it must be so. But the thought that the people of Eorzea shall forever remain ignorant of their savior, of your deeds... The injustice of it is almost too much for me to bear. It's fine. How typical of you, Ny'ardbert. Ever the hero. Even so, I cannot deny that I feel better for your reassurance. But I want you to know that I will never forget. You were the one who freed Grandfather's soul, and saved Eorzea from Bahamut's wrath. And though these great deeds will never be remembered in song, their consequences will be felt forevermore by every soul who calls this realm home. Yes, this spot will do. For Grandfather, Nail, and the dragons of Mericidia, for all of those who were taken by the calamity. At long last, our struggle with Bahamut is over. The realm, given new life through the prayers and sacrifices of countless souls, may look to a brighter tomorrow. When the dust of our adventure is settled, I shall embark on a journey. I mean to find my own reason to fight for Eorzea. And when I do, I will fight with all my being. You've done so much for me, Ny'ardbert. One day I hope to be able to repay you in kind. I have no doubt but that you will continue to help those in need and grow ever so stronger in so doing. I shall endeavor to do the same. And if the 12 are kind, I hope one day to become Eorzea's sword in the darkness, as you are. Come what may, you may rest assured that I will not be outdone by Alfino.
I'm sure of it.
When next we meet, I promise that I will not disappoint you. Till that day, fare you well, my friend, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Alright. And so ends the tales of the coils of Bahamut. What a fucking journey. I look forward to resuming our adventure, and as we continue, mayhap somewhere along the way, we'll see Alisaie again. Thanks for coming, folks. Ny'ardbert will return.